Distinguished guests, please take your seats. The summit will be starting shortly. Distinguished guests, please take your seats. The summit will be starting shortly.
In the heart of the United Kingdom, a new vision is unfolding, one that unlocks a new era of economic prosperity. It will show a place where we are anchoring supply chains in the UK. And seizing opportunities that change the way we look after the earth. One where our services make the UK the world's most trusted advisor. And location of choice to invest and grow. A country that's full of creative magic. And technologies that lead the pack. Where there's round-the-clock research to cure the world, and where we're revitalising our defence industry with security at our hearts. We will deliver the decade of renewal and growth, a changed UK.
Distinguished guests, please welcome to the stage our host, broadcaster Amber Sandy.
Hello everyone, good morning, how are we? Do you know what? I will accept that amount of noise, considering it's quite early on a Tuesday morning, isn't it? A lot of you have had quite the journey to get here. Despite all of that, putting that all aside, I can see so many friendly, so many lovely, smiley faces in the crowd, which always makes my job a lot easier. So, shall we do this? Oh, well, big warm welcome to each and every one of you to the inaugural Regional Investment Summit 2025. And hey, welcome to the host city. Welcome to Birmingham. Yes. Welcome to one of the gems in the city, by the way. I mean, I think as a region, we're quite lucky. We're quite fortunate to be treated to a lot of sporting venues. I'll be honest, I'm quite biased. I love cricket. I love sport. This is one of my favourites. So welcome to Edgbaston Cricket Ground, the home of Warwickshire Cricket and the Bears for today's summit. Now, before I get carried away, before I start telling you everything we've got planned, because we have got a jam-packed schedule, I should probably introduce myself. I am the host of today's summit. My name is Amber Sandhu. By day, I'm a radio and TV broadcaster. I work across Sky Sports News, the BBC, the Premier League. Basically, anywhere that will take me, I will work there. But I just love my job. I just love talking. If you ask my mum what I do, that's a different story. She will just say, Amber never shuts up. She's always yapping. She does our head in, which all of the above is quite true. But no, on a serious note, I feel very lucky. I feel very fortunate to do a job that I love, I really enjoy, but one that I've wanted to do since I was a little girl as well. And I think today's really special, I'll be honest, because I'm a proud local girl. I was born and raised in Wolverhampton, so not too far from where we are today. I started my career there. I went to school there. I've got loads of lovely memories, which is why today is such a huge honour and it's such a huge privilege for me to be hosting the summit on behalf of not only the Chancellor, but the Secretary of State for Business and Trade and, of course, the Mayor of the West Midlands. They are quite literally backstage, so if I didn't need the pressure already, they were quite literally just sat in front of me, staring at me as I was about to come on stage. But it's quite daunting, isn't it? I mean, this is the first of its kind. This is the first one we're doing outside of London. And when I saw the impressive guest list, i.e. all of your names, because we have an incredible calibre of delegates and guests in the room, I was nervous. I'll be honest, because we've got some fantastic people in the room. I mean, this is quite rare, isn't it? If you look around, we've got government ministers, we have got mayors, we have got international and domestic investors, we've got local leaders, we've got it all today. And I think that's a testament to all of you. And by the way, all of those individuals help shape the future of our towns, cities and communities. So my first thank you goes to all of you. Thank you for giving up your Tuesday. Thank you for giving up your time. Thanks for putting some time in your diary to be here today. I know some of you have travelled a bit further than others. I know some people have travelled quite literally across the globe to be with us today, have travelled internationally, which in itself, that's quite powerful, isn't it? That they wanted to be a part of today's conversation, because I think the opportunities we're going to talk about today not only have an impact on a local, regional, national level, but also on a global and international stage as well. And personally for me, I've already confessed, I'm a Wolves girl. So, of course, I am going to champion the West Midlands every day. But if I get the opportunity to be a part of events like this, if I get the opportunity to shout about the Midlands, to talk about how do we grow and how do we thrive, I am very much there. I am present, because we have so much to be proud of. I mean, if you look at Birmingham itself, it's one of the UK's youngest, fastest growing, one of the most diverse city regions. And we've got such a rich history and heritage, haven't we? There's so many legacies, from culture to music to sport to entertainment and beyond. I mean, off the top of my head, when I think of Birmingham, now this is going to say a lot about my personality, I think about Cadbury's Dairy Milk chocolate. I love chocolate. Who doesn't love chocolate? But I drive past the chocolate factory every single day on my way into work. Other things that come to mind, league football, Peaky Blinders. I say that because Stephen Knight's going to be on the stage this afternoon. The Doctor Who theme tune, Black Sabbath, of course. Rest in peace, the legend that is Ozzy Osbourne that we lost this year as well. There's so much in there, isn't there? And it's so great that we've got that. But I think today, the focus is on opportunities. We're definitely looking ahead, and we're asking those critical and clinical questions. How do we bring in investment to unlock growth? How do we make sure our travel and our infrastructure is fit for the future? And ultimately, how do we continue to create thriving communities, ones in which businesses grow, but also people live, work and prosper as well? Now, we already know that the UK regions and its revolved nations has a proud history of industry and innovation, which I think is fantastic. But today, the focus very much is on looking ahead and the future. How do we keep up with the pace of change? But not only how do we keep up with it, how do we be a part of that change? How do we lead that change as a region? So having said all of that, what have we got coming up then? Well, I'm sure you know, because you've read your programmes, an outstanding lineup of speakers today. We'll be hearing from the Chancellor, we'll be hearing from senior ministers, the Mayor and local leaders within investment and business as well. And hopefully their insight is going to give us an idea. It's going to frame the bigger ideas for us. And more importantly, it's going to give us practical steps on how we future-proof our economy and also our communities, because that's at the heart of everything we do, isn't it? So final thing from me before I go and grab a cup of tea and I shut up. I want you to make the most of today's summit. I know you will, because you've travelled so far to be here. But today's a great opportunity to listen and to hear. But I want you to connect, I want you to engage, I want you to be a part of the summit. Ask those questions, forge those partnerships, build on your existing connections and relationships as well. I feel like I said at the beginning, this is quite rare to get us all in the room. So let's make the most of this. Let's have those conversations. And I feel like the most meaningful encounters, those magic moments that you least expect, are when, you're going to get a tea and coffee and you bump into somebody you don't know, or you're sat next to somebody that you have no idea. Have that conversation. I hope you find today productive, valuable, and you get the most out of today's summit. So it gives me great honour to open up what is going to be such an insightful, important and inspiring event. So without further ado, please join me in giving a warm welcome to our first speaker of this morning. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the Mayor of the West Midlands, Richard Parker, everyone.
Good morning and welcome to the West Midlands and to Birmingham. 250 years ago, under the light of the full moon, a small group of men gathered here. Bolton, Watt, Wedgwood, Darwin, the Lunar Society. Named as such because they met by moonlight as the roads were dark. But in truth, it wasn't the road they were lighting, it was the future. Around their tables, science met business, and curiosity met capital. They shared knowledge, they took risks, and built the partnerships that powered the Industrial Revolution and made this region its beating heart. They knew progress is never a solo act. It happens when visionaries and investors, entrepreneurs and institutions work together for something greater. A century later, that spirit lived on in Joseph Chamberlain, Birmingham's great reforming mayor. First great reforming mayor. Chamberlain said the town is the people. He brought gas and water under civic control, cleared slums, built schools, and most importantly, created pride in place. He showed that business confidence follows civic leadership, and that industry grows when communities thrive. Because when government and business work together, we build more than profit, we build purpose. And we stand again at a very important turning point. The challenges may be different, but the principle is still the same. Progress depends on collaboration and it depends on partnership. The West Midlands is the world's original industrial cluster. Britain's success depends on the Midlands' success. We remain the nation's economic pulse. So that's why we're gathering here today, bringing together our thinkers, our builders, our investors, and our innovators once more. So I'd ask you all to see the value of being here today and ask yourselves a really important question. What can we build together that none of us could build alone? You wouldn't be here if you didn't believe in partnership. And now is the moment to turn that belief into action. And we're playing our part too. Today we announced almost 20 billion of investment opportunities here in the West Midlands. And just as roads and canals powered our first industrial revolution, we're also investing in the infrastructure to drive the next one. £2.4 billion of capital investment in transport in this region alone. A new metro through East Birmingham and North Solihull, linking our two new HS2 stations, including at Arden Cross in Solihull, a £3 billion project that will create thousands of homes and a new university health tech campus. And thanks to HS2, this region will be just 38 minutes from central London. And on my reckoning, that's about Zone 5 on the tube map. But right beneath our station, our HS2 station in Digbeth, lies a fantastic creative quarter, which Sunday Times described as the coolest district in the country. And it's now more than a fast-growing creative quarter. It's full of fantastic investable opportunities. It's home to Digbeth Lock Studios, founded by the Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight, a fantastic ambassador for this region, and now the writer of the next James Bond movie. And of course, Bond drives an Aston Martin, and they're built right here in the West Midlands too. Built, in fact, next door to the Coventry and Warwickshire Green Power Park, a huge investment opportunity with global battery manufacturing potential. Building on the region's automotive heritage as it does, and that heritage includes Aston Martin, Jaguar Land Rover and Rolls-Royce. In the north of the region, we have the Black Country, where we have a fantastic green innovation corridor driving clean growth. And in Wolverhampton, thousands of new homes and businesses are transforming the city centre, bringing 11,000 new residents in, increasing footfall and supporting sustainable growth. In Dudley, the new metro will connect Brierley Hill with Birmingham and Wolverhampton, opening up the town centre to fresh investment and new homes. And in Walsall, a £1.5 billion regeneration is transforming the town centre and its connections, including a £40 million transport hub with improvements to Junction 10 of the M6. And those improvements would unlock new jobs at Spark, our new logistics and manufacturing hub. And very soon, you'll hear about Birmingham Sports Quarter, a once-in-a-generation opportunity to regenerate one of the most deprived areas in the UK through sport, through entertainment, and the creation of a new community. All of this investment potential not only matches our proud heritage, but shows we're ready to surpass it. This is a region that just doesn't wait for permission. We take action, we take responsibility, and we deliver. We've now built one of the strongest evolved institutions in the country. We have the sites, we have the skills, and now have the leadership and the partnerships to get things done. We're already home to world-class universities, advanced manufacturers, and a thriving creative economy. We have the youngest and most diverse population in Europe, and we're using the powers we have, and we're pushing for more to make this the easiest place in Britain to invest, to build, and to grow. The Lunar Society lit the way once before. Chamberlain built our civic institutions. Now it's our turn to write the next chapter of the story. It starts here in the West Midlands. And on that note, I'd like to welcome the Secretary of State for Business and Trade, Peter Carl. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me start by thanking all of you for your investment in time, your effort, the ideas and the resources that you have committed to making today such a success. And of course, I want to pay particular thanks to our star Metro Mayor, Richard Parker. Richard has spearheaded an ambitious local growth plan. He has done so and done so much to drive innovation and job creation throughout the West Midlands. Now, in that sense, we couldn't have chosen a more fitting place for the first Regional Investment Summit since we published our modern industrial strategy. The West Midlands not only has deep industrial legacy, but it also has dynamic industrial future ahead of it. It is a cluster for excellence for each and every one of our growth sectors. Regional investment matters because economic growth matters for the wealth and jobs it creates, for the public services that it fuels, for the future prosperity that it generates, for our nations, our regions, and our communities. And later today, I'm going to head over to the HS2 construction site over at Curzon Street. It looks really impressive from a distance, and now I just can't wait to see it up close. Now, the investment that HS2 has attracted to the West Midlands will add £10 billion to the regional economy over the next 10 years. It's going to create 40,000 new homes and more than 30,000 new jobs. HS2 demonstrates the huge economic growth potential of infrastructure investment. Now, I want to focus today on the vital importance of economic growth. Since 2008 and the financial crisis, Western economies have shared a problem of low growth. An ageing population, productivity stagnation, and global trading tensions all contribute towards the West's sluggish economic growth. In the years before the financial crisis, the USA and Europe had achieved growth rates of between 2 and 3%. Today, average annual growth in many advanced economies is lower than for decades, with lower for longer structural growth rates. Now, in the UK, had we maintained our pre-2008 trend growth rates and nothing else had changed, no financial crisis, no pandemic, no Brexit, we would have 21% higher GDP by now, £240 billion more in revenue each year to spend on public services, and people's wages, on average, would be £7,000 higher than they are today. Now, to those who dismiss the importance of higher economic growth to every family in this country, I simply say, economic growth is the route to stronger community cohesion, greater personal prosperity, public service improvement, and securing Britain's national renewal. 15 months ago, we inherited a national growth emergency in Britain. Since then, we've stabilised the economy, secured billions of pounds of investment into Britain, reached new trade deals with Europe, the USA and India, and taken tough decisions to turn our country around. But, candidly, our low-growth inheritance requires a national response matching the urgency, the scale, and the significance of Britain's continuing economic growth challenge. Without that, Britain's growth will continue to be too low, too slow, and too regionally imbalanced. Our economy would still punch below its weight. Our national prosperity would remain below trend. Our regional development would continue to lag behind where it needs to be, and our people will be less well off than they should be. The breadth and depth of the national growth emergency that we inherited and is continuing to impact our economy means that we must not resile from an emergency response mindset until we have realised the number one mission: greater economic growth for Britain. That demands a dedicated national effort to buck the trend, back British business, and get Britain growing again. It requires a single-minded determination to make Britain the best place to start a business, to grow a business, to run a successful business, and work in a thriving business anywhere in Europe. Now, when Jaguar Land Rover were attacked online, we didn't just sit back and hope that things would just improve. We stepped up and stepped in with support, including a £1.5 billion financing guarantee through UK Export Finance. The speed and the scale of that intervention proves that we will not hesitate to act decisively in the national interest. And it shows that when we focus our efforts on sorting out a problem, Britain can do it. The national growth emergency that we inherited demands that we act with the same determination, the same urgency, and the same laser-like focus to promote growth within the British economy as we did to prevent the collapse within the JLR supply chain. Because only better economic growth can deliver the opportunity, security, and prosperity that British people demand. And only business, investment, and innovation can drive economic growth. Economic stability, low inflation, and responsible fiscal policies are necessary, but insufficient alone to create the conditions for that to happen. Our response to Britain's national growth emergency requires unrelenting focus on pro-business policies, including a globally competitive tax system, smarter regulation, and policies that encourage investment and entrepreneurship. It demands our dedication to securing free and fair global trade and market access through strengthening our trade relationships with Europe, the USA, Asia, emerging markets, to expand opportunities for British businesses to export and to grow. And it means that we must harness investment in high-growth sectors by tirelessly implementing our modern industrial strategy. We are prioritising advanced manufacturing, creative industries, life sciences, clean energy, defence, digital technologies, professional services and financial services. These priority sectors are the engines of the economic growth that we must achieve. Now, to that end, today I am issuing a new strategic mandate to the British Business Bank with 4 simple, clear priorities. To support our most promising companies in the 8 industrial strategy priority sectors, to make financial markets work better for small businesses, to unlock the potential of people and places right across the country and mobilise industrial capital at scale. Now, as part of this mandate, I am requiring the bank's new £4 million industrial strategy growth capital initiative to be focused on our 8 priority growth sectors. Those are where the return on investment will be the highest. So I expect the bank to deliver 2/3 increase in its annual investments. I want it to crowd in tens of billions of pounds of private capital to support the most promising scale-ups. By attracting capital investment, increasing the skills and productivity of the workplace, maximising the efficient and sustainable use of all of our natural resources, reducing barriers to growth, and embracing AI and digital transformation, we can build a future-ready economy that repays innovation and rewards ambition, creates wealth and promotes prosperity. And in that spirit of candour, I have to say, it is high time that this Labour government stripped away the needless rules, over-regulation and Whitehall red tape that is holding back businesses and it stifles economic growth. Now, I know Rachel's going to say more about this shortly. When regulation is well designed and carefully implemented, it can promote growth and investment. And of course, we have to maintain standards of health and safety and consumer protection. And at the same time, we need to lighten the administrative load on wealth creators so that they can do more to drive economic growth. The latest Business Perception Survey shows that almost half of businesses believe that current regulation represents a roadblock to success. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat the problem. We will deal with it. And the comprehensive package being announced by the Chancellor today shows that when we mean what we say, and we will act on it. Regulation that restricts growth and requires a rewrite, or simply the rubbish bin. British businesses shouldn't have to put up with it. And just as there are too many pointless administrative regulatory burdens, there are simply too many regulators too. So the regulators themselves will not go untouched by these reforms. We will require regulators to fully explain when any of their decisions negatively impact business growth. And we will go further still. I am commissioning a programme of independent assessments on our key regulators. Starting with the Office of Rail and Road, this work, led by Richard Judge, will assess over-regulation, overlap and overreach. Where we identify regulators that are doubling up, stepping on each other's toes, or out of touch with the realities of the modern economy, we will streamline them. Where the role is redundant, we will end them. No, not one in, one out, but no role, no regulator. It is as simple as that. As proof of my commitment, today I'm announcing the abolition of the British Hallmarking Council, with its functions being transferred into my department. Now, this is the start. It is not the end. Growing Britain's economy means shrinking administrative regulatory burdens on British businesses. In future weeks and months, we will unveil further focused measures designed to address our national growth challenge and to build prosperity across the nations, the regions, right across the United Kingdom. My pledge to you today is that we will do everything we must to ensure that your faith, confidence and investments pay real dividends. We campaigned as a pro-business, pro-wealth creation, pro-growth party. We are a pro-business, pro-wealth creation, pro-growth government. And we will build a pro-business, pro-wealth creation, pro-growth Britain. And I will work relentlessly with you at your side to turn the tide, to end this era of low growth, deliver the decade of national renewal that we promised. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. And now to continue this story of economic growth, I'm really proud to announce, to introduce someone I have fought side by side with in opposition, fought side by side with in government, and will work tirelessly with to deliver the growth that you are all deserved and promised and have the right to expect. Please give a huge welcome to the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves.
Thank you very much, Peter, and thank you to Richard for hosting us here in Birmingham for the UK's first ever Regional Investment Summit. Thank you, Richard. Over the summer, I went on a tour across the regions and nations of our great country to see our growth mission in action. I visited JP Morgan, who are investing £350 million in their Bournemouth campus, Haven Holiday Parks in Kent, who recently made a £140 million upgrade and welcomed a record 3.7 million visitors this year, and Go Cardless's new office in Leeds, delivering the high-skilled jobs in the city that I have represented as an MP for 15 years. Now, my daughter loved my visit to Haven so much that she asked to go back. Unfortunately, I'm yet to get my kids interested in financial services, though. Now, every day on that tour, I saw a country primed for economic success. Britain, as we all know, is home to some of the brightest talent and the most innovative businesses, ready to seize the opportunities and to build and to grow. But I also saw the obstacles that businesses face in getting ahead. Our economy is not broken, but I do accept that for too many people, it's not working as it should. Bills are too high. Businesses often don't have the tools that they need to succeed. And people are feeling that they put more in, but they're getting less out. That has to change. And at the budget last year, we fixed the foundations of our economy, returned stability to our economy. And at the budget next month, we will take the necessary steps to secure those foundations and that stability for the future. It is a future that we must build and we will build hand in hand with business, setting direction through our modern industrial strategy and our 10-year infrastructure strategy, a new relationship between business and government to tackle barriers to our competitiveness and to provide certainty for investment. Our skills strategy, published by Bridget Phillipson yesterday, launching a vision for developing the skilled workforce that our economy needs, and our reforms to the visa system, led by Shabana Mahmood, where last week we extended the global talent route to capture the best minds from a wider variety of sectors, made our innovative founders route a seamless transition for those already in the UK, and improved our high-potential individual visa route to include graduates from more of the world's best universities. And we are boosting British exports around the world through our trade deals with India, the European Union, and the United States, where just last month the US state visit secured a record £150 billion of investment in the UK economy, creating more than 7,000 jobs in industries from biotech to AI. And last week in DC, I launched the Office for Investment Financial Services, a concierge service offering bespoke support to international firms establishing or growing their presence here in the UK. We increased the financial capacity of the British Business Bank to over £25 billion to help support more small businesses to start up and to scale up here in Britain. And we created Britain's first National Wealth Fund. We've announced £15 billion for city region transport, including here in the West Midlands, and £250 million across our 5 defence growth areas, including in Sheffield, where it went alongside more than £400 million pledged to Sheffield Forgemasters, safeguarding the production of steel here in Britain. And we're investing in the Oxford-Cambridge Growth Corridor. Thank you to Patrick Vallance for all your work on that, where we are today publishing a brand new prospectus of investor opportunities. But let me rewind back to a year ago, where we hosted the International Investment Summit in London. I want to tell you what some of the £63 billion of investment committed then is achieving today. Erin Holdings announced investment in North Wales. In June, they held a jobs fair for 200 new positions. Halion announced a new production facility in Weybridge. In July, they broke ground. And at the start of this year, we launched the AI Action Plan, and Kyndryl announced they were creating 1,000 jobs in Liverpool over the next 3 years. Today, we have Niall and Lamine in the room, 2 young people whose apprenticeships were a direct result of that investment. That is the difference that we are making. And those young people are now being trained in one of the industries of the future. This morning, I want to talk about the next step in that journey. How we are regulating our economy for growth. How we are overturning the old approach to public investment. And how the investment made by the people in this room is transforming our economy, our country. I believe that a strategic state must know when to intervene, but it also must know when to get out of the way. We cannot expect businesses like yours to flourish and grow if we're not willing to do our bit as your government. In March this year, the Prime Minister pledged that we would cut the administrative costs of regulation by 25%. A reduction that I can today announce will save businesses £6 billion a year by the end of this Parliament. That's an average of 200 hours of admin time per business in Britain. Time that could be much better spent on securing new orders and money better invested in the workforce and in new technology. Only weeks into office, we ripped up the planning rules, and the Planning and Infrastructure Bill now in Parliament will deliver over £2 billion in savings to businesses over the next 10 years. And can I praise the work of both Angela Rayner and now Steve Reed in driving that forward. And already this government has approved more major infrastructure projects in 1 year than any previous government. Our new food and farming agreement with the EU will slash red tape for businesses. And today we're going further to reduce corporate reporting requirements, scrapping needless form filling for tens of thousands of businesses, and taking the savings to businesses from our reforms to over £1 billion a year already. Because our vision for overhauling the regulatory system isn't just about cutting admin time. It's about regulating proactively to support innovation and investment. And so today I can announce 3 new reforms to boost competition and make the UK a top destination for global capital. First, we will consult on a cross-economy AI sandbox, modelled on the success of the FCA's pioneering FinTech sandbox, to allow new AI products to be developed under supervision by regulators, accelerating approvals for the use of AI in sectors like legal services, planning assessments, and advanced manufacturing. And I want to thank Liz Kendall for her work in that area. Second, the Civil Aviation Authority will publish an investor roadmap outlining the steps to launching commercial drone operations by 2027. Technology that has the potential to generate up to £66 billion in business revenues over the next 25 years and transform everything from surveying sites for development to delivering blood supplies for the NHS, as already trialled at Guy's and St Thomas's. And I want to thank Heidi Alexander for her work as Transport Secretary in this innovation. And third, we will reform the panels that review company mergers and provide greater certainty on whether transactions will be subject to merger control. And I'd like to thank the CEO of the Competition and Markets Authority, Sarah Cardill, for all the work that she and her team are doing to support this. These are the right choices to grow our economy and to unlock the power of investment, and to create the environment so that businesses can invest with confidence. Now, this is a regional investment summit, and I want to tell you why that matters. Previous governments left parts of our country out from investment. And I've heard from many people in this room, including Mayor Steve Rotherham from the Liverpool City region, about how the Treasury's own manual on value for money, the Green Book, was used against them, used against our regions, to downplay the importance of local outcomes and the potential of targeted regional investment. I have always believed that the only viable strategy for growth is one that rests on strong and broad foundations, with the contribution of every part of our country. And so in my review of the Green Book earlier this year, I announced our new place-based business cases. And today I'm pleased to announce that Liverpool, Plymouth, Port Talbot and Birmingham will be the first 4 locations to trial this new way of looking at the reinforcing effects of different investments. And we're transforming public funding too, through our public financial institutions. Later today, I will open a meeting of CEOs across the public investment landscape to discuss how they will work together to support regional growth, complemented by investments made by the National Wealth Fund, as well as 3 new allocations from the Local Innovation Partnership Fund, including in Manchester, the Victoria North Urban Regeneration Project and the Trafford Heat Network, in West Yorkshire, through the delivery of mass transit and the Leeds South Bank project to expand Leeds City Centre, and in Glasgow, supporting the Clyde Metro and the Advanced Manufacturing Innovation District, bringing together universities and cutting-edge manufacturing. And in the West Midlands, investing in Green Power Park as well as Birmingham Sports Quarter, a £3 billion investment with a new stadium for Birmingham City at its heart. And I particularly want to thank Tom Wagner of Knighthead and the Mayor of the West Midlands, Richard Parker, who have worked tirelessly to turn that project into a reality. And there is more work being led by our fantastic leaders in other regions. In the west of England, the Mayoral Combined Authority are investing £38 million towards 2 new train stations in one of their 5 strategic growth zones. In the northeast, a new mayoral development zone in Newcastle will accelerate new homes and commercial premises, with over £2 billion of investment opportunities. In Cambridge and Peterborough, the £211 million Cambridge South Station is due to open in the new year. And the Peterborough Station Quarter regeneration will unlock employment space and 600 new homes. And in the East Midlands, where Homes England and the Combined Authority are launching procurement for a new partner for the Broadmarsh Regeneration Project in Nottingham City Centre, which will deliver 1,000 new homes and create 2,000 jobs. Our mission is clear: to create the right environment for investment through our regulatory reforms, to crowd in capital through our public financial institutions, and to break down silos to collaboration on local projects, supporting innovation and growth throughout the UK. Over the last year, the UK has welcomed billions of pounds of foreign investment, in addition to the domestic investment made by businesses, including in this room, every single day. And these are not just numbers. They are higher wages, new homes, and the transport, energy and digital infrastructure that underpins our nation. Earlier this year, we published the final report of the Pensions Investment Review, and I want to thank the Pensions Minister, Torsten Bell, for his work. Alongside it, 17 of the UK's largest pension funds signed the Mansion House Accord, an agreement by our most powerful investment institutions to put more money into boosting the UK economy. I met with the 20 leaders of those funds earlier today, alongside the local government pension schemes and 3 major insurers, to launch the Sterling 20, a brand new investor-led partnership set up to invest in British assets, support our frontier sectors, and drive returns for British savers. At our first meeting this morning, we discussed their investment plans. £2 billion from Legal and General for social and affordable homes, road and rail upgrades, and backing startups. £85 million from Nest, bringing gigabit-capable broadband to underserved areas in Scotland and in Northern England. And investing in energy-to-waste plants in Staffordshire and in Durham, generating renewable power for tens of thousands of homes. And later today, we'll be hosting a delegation of Australian super fund CEOs responsible for more than £2 trillion worth of assets. Only yesterday, Australian Super announced a new £500 million investment fund as part of its plans to invest £8 billion in the UK over the next 5 years. This is just the start of what the investment is committed as part of today's summit will mean. Good jobs, thousands of jobs, thanks to the Crown Estate's new project at Harwell East, unlocking £4.5 billion of investment for our economy. 200 jobs in West Bromwich, where Freshways Dairy is announcing a new facility. And jobs just down the road from here in Solihull, which will soon be connected by the Metro extension, where Atos are opening a new AI development hub. It will mean homes and services for people in their daily lives. From Welltower, who are investing £6.4 billion in thousands of new places in elderly care, so that people can get the right support for their loved ones. £1.5 billion from Unite Students, including a £650 million partnership with Manchester Met and Newcastle universities, delivering accommodation for 4,500 students, whilst at the same time freeing up local housing for families. And £200 million from Blackstone, invested in the Birmingham National Exhibition Centre, a gateway for culture and for commerce. And it will mean deepening expertise in our cutting-edge industries. In September, Schneider Electric began production at its £42 million manufacturing facility in Scarborough. 2 weeks ago, Convatec announced a £500 million investment in a state-of-the-art R&D hub in Manchester. Lloyds Banking Group declared Bristol as its AI capital. And just today, Cummins has announced £30 million of investment in manufacturing in Daventry, helping secure our energy supply chains. Whilst Woven Capital, Toyota's growth stage investment arm, has announced that it will build its European growth capital team here in the UK, with an investment allocation of up to £300 million for innovative startups and scale-ups. I do not, and I will not, take for granted the confidence put in Britain by investors. The people in this room have shown today and over the last year that they want to invest here in the UK. You have backed Britain and you have backed our regions. And I will not squander that trust. I know that there is further to go until we have delivered economic growth in every part of Britain. Growth that is felt in every part of Britain. We will go further to boldly regulate for growth, not to hold business back with arbitrary rules. We will continue to rewire public funding so that it considers local growth outcomes. And we will collaborate with leaders throughout our country, councillors, mayors, investors and business leaders, who knows what needs to be done to unlock the potential of their regions. The prize is clear. An economy that works for everyone, where businesses have the resources that they need, and where people have the tools for their success. Affordable energy in our homes, good jobs for our children, high streets regenerated. That is the power of investment. That is the power of regional growth. And that is what today is all about. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks very much, Amber. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I don't think we could have started today's summit in a more fitting, and we've set the tone perfectly and the momentum perfectly as well. So a big thank you to the Mayor of the West Midlands, the Secretary of State for Business and Trade, and of course the Chancellor as well, for their words and for opening up today's summit. Hopefully food for thought there, lots to think about, maybe some questions as well, but hopefully a lot to be excited for, a lot to look forward to as well. Well, there'll be plenty of time to ask those questions throughout the day today. We'll have in-conversations on this stage. We're going to have 3 in total that we'll all be able to enjoy. Then we'll be breaking off into spaces. I think that's going to be really valuable because actually everything that we've spoken about just then, everything we've heard, we'll be able to zoom in on those specific topics, and we'll also be able to, I guess, be in a room with people who've got similar thoughts to all of us as well. So we'll break out about 12:15. We're then going to have some lunch. Who's looking forward to a bit of lunch? Yes, of course we're going to feed you. Really special lunch as well. As you're in Birmingham, we're going to be treated to food from Dan Lee. He was a 2021 MasterChef Professionals winner. He's putting on an English and Asian fusion menu. I have had Dan's food before. It is excellent. I cannot wait. That's twice I've spoken about food now. I spoke about chocolate and lunch. But we've got lunch, and then we will break off again into our separate areas. In your programmes, and I will have it on the board very soon, you'll be able to pick which one you would like to go to. That will be between 12:15 and 1. And 1 in the afternoon, and we'll have a final in conversation on this stage. And by magic, we've got water, we've got tables, and we've got chairs. So let's welcome on our first in conversation. This one is titled Financing Futures. I'd like to welcome on our chair, the person moderating this conversation first and foremost, Head of International and Senior Managing Director at BlackRock. Please welcome Rachel Lord.